Hello YouTubers, and welcome to my review video of the laptop you see in front of you, the Dell XPS 14. Now this is the bigger brother of the Dell XPS 13 that I've reviewed previously on this channel. It's still an Ultrabook. Dell may be bending the rules of the term Ultrabook slightly, but we'll get to that in a minute. So just like the XPS 13, it's borrowing its design features heavily from the MacBook. We've got the aluminium chassis on the top, the Dell logo, you've swapped that for an Apple logo and you've got a MacBook. Around the sides you've also got aluminium, that's the back, so that's the hinge. On the left side here we've got the ports. We have a power port, an Ethernet port, which is a kind of flaps out in and out. I don't know if you can see that. A HDMI port, a mini display port, and two USB 3 ports. On the front there is nothing but a little indicator light there, so you can see if it's on standby or charging. On the right hand side we have a headphone jack, a SD card reader. Now this pops out, you kind of push it in and the whole thing comes out. You stick the SD card in there and then pop it back in its slot. Ooh. Kind of have to, quite fiddly to get that in actually, there's a bad point. There you go, once you've got it in. And then finally there's one of those lock points. That's it for the ports. We're not inundated with ports on this laptop, but then it is quite thin. They start at 2 kilograms. I'm not sure the exact weight of this one, but the models start at 2 kilograms. 2.3 centimeters thick, so not too bad at all. On the bottom we've kind of got a rubber pad that extends to sort of most of the bottom, and with a little edge around the outside where the vents are and the speakers, that kind of thing. In the middle, as per normal with the XPS series of Ultrabooks, there's a flap here. Underneath that is all the service information, the Windows license key, that kind of thing. Upgradability wise, you are somewhat restricted on this kind of range of laptops. In order to get inside it, you're going to have to undo screws, you're going to have to probably take out parts to get to other parts, that kind of thing. They're not really made for upgrading, so that's another negative. There's no latch on the front, just a magnetic clasp, and it opens up like that. Opening angle, that is as far as it will go. Not too bad at all. Looking at the keyboard, it's a chiclet style keyboard, very similar to the XPS 13 I reviewed before. The keys actually don't have a lot of play in them, but they do have a nice kind of reassuring tap to them. The mouse pad at the bottom is another one of those multi-touch glass pads. This one actually I think works a lot better than the XPS 13's one. Maybe the drivers are better or whatever, but it's really smooth, multi-touch for scrolling, that kind of thing. It's got differentiated buttons at the bottom, so left click and right click, and you can click anywhere you want. One thing I have noticed slightly when using it is when you're just moving around, the top right hand corner has a bit of a rattle to it. Whether that's just this one, maybe the pad's a bit loose, whatever. Maybe that's just this specific one. I'm not too sure, but could get annoying. See how the left hand side is fairly sturdy over here. Around the keyboard is a kind of rubberized plastic. It's quite rugged, really nice. Makes the keyboard look really nice. The keyboard is backlit, I'll show you in a moment. The actual panel itself is kind of edged. It's pretty much edge to edge, left to right. There's a bit of bezel at the top for your. There's a bezel at the top for your microphone and your camera, and it says it has the XPS logo at the bottom there. The power button is on the left, and all the function keys are all functions on the along the top there, along the F keys. The model I have here is an i5 3337U processor. It's a 1.8 gigahertz. I think that's dual core, but it's got like virtual threads up to 4 cores or something along those lines. It's got a turbo boost up to 2.6 gigahertz, and this one's got 4 gigabytes of RAM. That's the base model. You can get it with 8. This specific one has a standard hard drive as well. You can get them with solid state drives. That's why I was saying before they're bending the rules of Ultrabook slightly. The base model just has a standard, well, The base model has a standard hard drive, well, it's kind of a hybrid hard drive where it's got a little bit of solid state used for saving things for resuming quickly. I'll show you that in a minute. The screen obviously is a 14-inch, as the name XPS 14 suggests. It's a 1600 by 900 resolution, so that's really good, that's HD. It's Gorilla Glass as well, so you can probably give it a whack in and it probably won't scratch or smash. These things have been tested to have about a 7-hour battery life, and that's under quite stressful circumstances, so really good battery life on these. One thing I was slightly disappointed with was the boot times from a completely shut down. Obviously most of the time you're going to be sleeping it and resuming it, and that happens in a matter of seconds, but this is completely shut down at the moment, and I'll show you how long it takes to boot. I'll tell you something, the new stopwatch on iOS 7 is really difficult to see on a camera. Hope you can see that, guys. I'm going to start it just at the same time as I press the power button on the left here. Go. This is booting completely from shutdown, so obviously this is going to take a little bit longer. I'll stop it when it gets to the login screen. If you had the model with the solid state drive, I am sure this would be a lot quicker. There you go, 47.83 seconds. So I'm a little disappointed with that. 47.83 seconds from completely shut down, but then how often am I going to have this shut down? Probably not very often with the quick boot software that comes along with it. Okay, so it was 47.83 seconds booting from completely shut down. The computer is hibernated now, so let's see how long it takes to boot. Go. Resuming Windows. Boom. 16.81 seconds, that's an awful lot faster. Okay, the final boot up test, it's now in sleep, so that's what happens when you close the lid. And this should be the quickest boot time of all. Let's give it a go. Start. Boom. Literally 2 seconds and it was on. Instantaneous. The hybrid hard drive there is really helping the boot times. Even in hibernation mode, 18 seconds is really good. This specific laptop was bought from the Dell Outlet, so it's a refurb. That's why it's running Windows 7, as you can see. To be honest, I prefer Windows 7 to Windows 8, so that is a definite bonus. Another bonus is it's a lot cheaper. This was £600. XPS 14s normally start from about £800, and that's with Windows 8, so you're losing out there if you ask me. I have bought all my laptops previously from the Dell Outlet, or all my Dell laptops from the Dell Outlet, and I've never had a bad one. I had an issue with the XPS 13 when it first arrived. That was sorted within a few days. Every other one has been instantly perfect, and there's been no marks on it. As you can see on this one, completely mark free. I really recommend going to the Dell Outlet, guys. You're basically getting the same thing, but for 40% cheaper. If I just turn the lights out, you'll be able to see the backlight. So there's the backlight on the keyboard. As you can see, it went off when it wasn't in use. Energy saving kind of thing. All the keys are well lit up. There's a little bit of light bleed around the keys, but mainly it's just the letters you're seeing. Some people have commented on the letters being a slightly strange font. I don't actually mind it. I think it looks a bit different. I won't go too much into Windows 7. You've all used it. This hasn't got touchscreen or anything like that, so I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of the software. The Dell software that comes with it is all about the Dell backup, that kind of thing. I uninstalled most of it, and the little thing to do with the hybrid drive, I left that on so that it could resume quickly. Other than that, I just deleted most of the Dell stuff that came with it. Sound wise, the speakers on this laptop are on the bottom. Obviously the bottom is slightly raised so it doesn't block the sound. I found the sound to be adequate. It's not amazing, but then you don't expect anything much more than that from a laptop. The clarity at higher levels wasn't amazing. I'm not going to give you a demo because it won't come over the video. Overall, guys, I would really recommend this laptop. I think it's superior to the XPS 13, especially since the mouse on the XPS 13 isn't all that great. Obviously it is a lot heavier and a lot bulkier than the XPS 13, but it depends what you're after really. This one is a really good size. It's portable, yet it's also got a lot of workspace. So advantages, it's rugged, it's going to last you a long time, this laptop. Good specs, good mouse pad, really nice screen. Disadvantages, I'd say the ports, number of ports isn't amazing. It's got 2 USB 3s, but you might want more than that. Possibly it's a little bit pricey if you could buy a brand new one. Obviously I recommend going to the Dell Outlet every time. You get really good quality refurbished laptops there. Just make sure you don't buy the scratch and dent allocated ones. Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos from me. If you have been, thank you for watching.